Welcome back to Just Scribble for an unboxing of my new Sailor Compass fountain pen. So this boxing is a little bit weird because I have actually already taken the pen, mine and my sister's actually, because I bought one for her as well, out of the box because they were destroyed by the Postal Service. So if you can see the end of these boxes, you can see all the discoloration and that the labels have basically disappeared. My box was at the post office or in transport from the post office with someone else's package that had a cleaning product and or hand soap. We're not 100% sure, but based on the smell, we can tell it's one of the two. And that exploded and it soaked through my box and through all of the packaging and everything that Anderson Pens used to ship my Compass pen. But the pens appear to be safe. These are the pens. The boxes just won't be able to be kept or used. I actually got this earlier in the week, but I was letting them sit out because I needed the boxes to dry before I did an unboxing. So we each ordered one of these Sailor Compass pens. I have been waiting for these pens to come out. I adore Sailor pens. They are one of my favorite Japanese pen brands, and I have several different models. But the Compass pen is a relatively inexpensive pen, and it has a unique feature that the pen and the color of the converter go together, which I think is super fun and super cute. It comes in a variety of colors. I will list them all down below. I do know that Anderson Pens, which is where I bought these from, did have limited stock of these pens, and so I don't know what colors are still available, but you can definitely sign up for restock notifications in a color that you want and see if it restocks. I do believe that Goulet Pens also carries these pens. I tend to buy from Vanessa Pens first and foremost, and then Anderson Pens, and then Goulet Pens. That's kind of the order of the three kind of fountain pen shops that I shop from the most frequently. So these are our pens. I wanted to show you my sister's pen, but I cannot ink it up because it is hers, and it's not very nice to ink up someone else's pen for them before they've even actually seen it, but I wanted to show it to you, so I'm going to show you her pen first just so you can see it. So she picked the yellow pen because she does not have a lot of yellow pens in her fountain pen collection. So this is the pen. It is a clear pen in the color of your choice. It comes in a medium fine pen nib, and that is actually a great everyday writing size, especially in a Japanese pen, because Japanese nibs are generally finer than a non-Japanese version. So it is a really good nib size for everyday writing. And then it comes with a converter, which is great because Sailor does have proprietary converters, so you have to use their converters in your pens, and they recently came out with these colored ones where the tips of them are colored, so you can match the tip of your converter to your ink that you are using and help keep the colors straight that you have been loading into your converters. And they also just look fun. And then it comes with an instruction guide, and then it comes with 2 Sailor cartridges. And so you get all of that with your pen for around 40 bucks. I'll put the actual price down below so that you can see it. But that is your package. Then this is just like a big foam piece of packaging inside a box that we cannot keep because the post office destroyed it. So that is what you get. But this is my pen. I had a lot of trouble deciding what color of pen I wanted to buy. I ultimately really wish I could get all of them. I love Sailor pens a lot, and a lot of Sailor pens are very expensive, and so I thought because these are fun colors and I could load each one with a color of ink that coordinates to the pen itself, that it would be really nice to have all of them. But I don't know that I can afford all of them or even find all of them because they were a little bit more limited to acquire. But this is my pen in the hot pink, which is what I ultimately picked. I don't have a lot of hot pink pens. I do have 2 favorite colors of kind of signature ink that I love to use personally, which is very odd because they're pink and I'm not really a pink girl, but I absolutely love these 2 inks, one of which is Noodler's Cactus Fruit Eel, which I keep in one of my pens in one of my Lamy 2000s all the time. And the other is Girls Just Wanna Have Fun from Colorverse, and I love this ink. And so I decided, since I really love this ink, this pen would be a perfect match, and that was what I would put in it. And then I would always have a less expensive pen with me that could hold my favorite color of ink, and I could use it in my journal and my planner whenever I wanted. Like my sister's, it came with the converter with the matching tip. Her converter matches a little bit better the color. The pink is a little bit off. It's a little paler and a little less hot pink, but that doesn't bother me. It's going inside the pen, so it's not like you're really going to see it all that much. This is the converter. And just like any converter, it works kind of like a piston. And so you turn the back of it to push that piston down. And then when you turn it clockwise, it will suck that ink up into the converter, and then you load it into your pen. Instruction guide and my 2 cartridges. So we are going to actually fill up this pen. I was going to see if I could get this out to show you guys there's nothing underneath, but it's actually like foam all the way inside. It's just a foam box. So I don't mind all that much that the box was destroyed. Our pens and our converters, nothing else was touched by the liquid that ruined our packaging, and so I'm okay with throwing the box away. I don't keep all of my fountain pen boxes. I wouldn't have room to store them all, and most of them are just, you know, an inexpensive box. I don't want something super fancy that I had to pay extra money for a pen just because they put it in some nice packaging that it never sits in. So for me, it's perfectly okay that it is inexpensive and I can throw it away. So this is the instruction guide. I'm going to open it up just so you can see it. It is in Japanese and then in English. So Sailor does sell fountain pens, and that is what they are known for, but they do have ballpoint pens, mechanical pencils, roller balls, dual color ballpoint pens, and multi-purpose pens where it has a pencil and a pen in it, kind of like the Pilot ones that you click like a Colero or whatever. And so they do sell other pens. You don't generally see people, or I don't generally see people in the States ever talking about or sharing them, but they do have other things besides just fountain pens, but I adore their fountain pens. So I'm going to set the cartridges aside because I am not going to use them. I believe they are black ink cartridges and not blue black, but I will put it down below just so that you know for sure what color ink cartridge it comes with. So I'm not going to flush this pen for a couple of reasons. One, they don't generally test their pens the way some brands do, where there would be a residue in it. And I'm also just being a little bit lazy because it is Saturday and I've had a really rough week. If you saw my Instagram, you would know that my son blacked out at school this week and passed out and fell about 2.5 feet and hit his head. And so we have had a very long week of doctor's appointments and testing and other things. And so I am just not going to flush it out. But I normally do recommend flushing pens. It just helps kind of prime up the feed and also get any residual stuff that might be in your nib section out before you use your pen. If you do buy a fountain pen and you do not flush it, and when you are writing with it, it is skipping a lot, most likely it's because you need to flush your pen. So you need to take the pen, take the cartridge or the converter out, flush the pen with water, dry it off, let it dry for just a little bit, and then put everything back in and try again, and it should work fine. So I'm going to fill the converter. I'm just going to stick it down in there, and I'm going to twist clockwise to suck the ink in the converter. If you suck the ink in and you don't get a very full fill, you can push it back out and do it again. But that is what it looks like when it is full. It's never going to be 100% full. There's always going to be a little bit of an air bubble, and that is perfectly okay. You actually need it to have a little bit of air or your pen will explode or kind of shoot out when you are writing if you have it too full. So I'm going to wipe it off. And I'm going to take the cap of the pen off, and then I'm going to take the back of the pen off. And then this literally just seats in there. So you push it till it's snugly in the pen. And then I'm going to put the back on the pen. When you first load the ink, there is no ink in the feed, but you can see that it is traveling down. So I don't know if you can see that pink that is coming down the feed. It will start to fill itself, as you can see. If your pen is filling slowly, you can hold it upside down like this. Generally, I would do that with the cap on so you don't make a mess, but since I'm showing you guys I'm taking the cap off, You hold it like that and it will speed up that process. And now you can see that the feed is full. Let me get something so you can see it a little bit better. But the feed has ink in it now. If you have a super stubborn pen and it is not filling that quickly, you can also hold it upside down and kind of swirl it. Let me grab a different pen so I can show you. But you hold it like this and just lightly swirl it. Do not shake your pen. It causes pressure, and when you open that pen, you may have ink in your cap, or when you go to write, it may spurt. So don't ever shake your fountain pens. Just slowly kind of swirl it and let that ink travel down, and be a little bit patient with it because it has to make its way through the feed and prime the feed so that you have a good writing experience. If you have a pen that you put glitter ink in, so this one is a TWSBI and I have glitter ink in it, also do not shake your pen. It will shove ink in here, you will get it into your pen cap, and then it will be all over your nib, and when you write, you will have ink on your fingers and you will be frustrated with fountain pens and you won't want to write with them. If you have glitter in your pens and it has settled, because it will do that, it will often settle at the bottom depending on which way you store your pens, horizontally or vertically, just roll your pen either across the table or across your hand horizontally and distribute that glitter, and then it will be all mixed up and you can write with it. Just thought I would share that with you guys while we're doing a little bit of a fountain pen video. I do have a couple more Sailor fountain pen videos that will be coming. One is going to be not too long after I post this video because I have a second Sailor fountain pen that I received actually before I got these that I hadn't gotten a chance to share with you guys. And so I will be sharing that. And then one is going to be just my Sailor collection, but that will probably not be until the fall, after the middle of October, and I make it through tax season. So this is a Wonderland 222 planner for 2020. If you didn't see my video on these planners, I will link it up above so that you can check it out. But I bought this planner to test out and see if it's something that I might want to use for my work planner. And I'm going to be doing some mock plan with me's over the next month or two with you guys in it. But I thought since this is Tomoe River paper, it would be a nice thing to use to do our swatching with our Sailor compass. So I'm going to put the cap on the pen on the back and post it just because I want to see how that feels. It has a very nice weight to it. This is not a heavy pen. If you have arthritis or pains in your joints, or you're a person that tends to be super heavy-handed and tightens their grip on their pen a lot, your hand probably gets sore when you write a lot, and using a heavy pen can make that worse. And actually using a non-fountain pen can make that worse. Fountain pens are easier on your hands and your elbow and everything when you're writing because the fountain pen glides across the paper and you'll just have a much better writing experience. And so fountain pens are great if they're great for anyone in my opinion, but they're great if you do have trouble with your joints or arthritis or soreness when you do long writing. It's generally because you're holding your pen too tight or you're pressing too hard because you're using a ballpoint, a roller ball, a gel point pen, and a fountain pen will actually help alleviate that. But if you post your pen, which I don't post most of my pens, but this is a little bit of a smaller pen and I do have larger hands for a girl. So if you post your pen, this one actually will post. Not all fountain pens post, but this one does, and it is very well weighted if it's posted. I can write with this just fine if it's not posted, and it is still balanced. It doesn't have issues. Some pens are not balanced without posting, or not balanced if you post them. And so you just kind of have to play and see what you think, but we're going to post this one just for the length of the pen and for my writing experience. And I will apologize because my handwriting is going to be terrible because I am standing while I video, and it's just never as good on a video as it is in real life. But we are going to write it out. So it is a very nice thin line. It is a steel nib. It is not a gold nib, so it's not going to have flex or anything. It does not have crazy scratchiness or a lot of feedback, but it does have some feedback, which I actually enjoy. I kind of like the sound, so if I was writing, I like that sound of hearing the pen on the paper. And so I have that experience with most of my Sailor pens. If you don't like that experience, Sailor may not be the pens for you, but I actually enjoy it. It is smooth though, even though you can hear it, it's not scratchy, and it is smooth to write, and it is crisp, and it wrote right away without any issues, and I just really like it. It's so cute, it's bright, it's fun, and now I really want the rest of them. So there is a close-up so you can see the thinness. This ink does really well on Tomoe River paper, and it's also not a super wet pen, so it's not laying down too much ink, and it is a good everyday writer nib, as I said, and so this is not smearing even on Tomoe River paper. That is mostly due to the ink. I love Colorverse ink. It is a great ink, but this is a very nice ink. And then it is also, because of the pen, it is not a super wet pen. It's not dry either. It's not skipping or having any other problems, but it is not smearing, and that was relatively quick. And there will be, on Tomoe River, always some shadowing through the page, but there is no bleed through. So it does really, really well. Let's see. If we do just an immediate, if I were to write and immediately go like that, it's going to smear. If I were to write and wait a few seconds, it's super, super minimal smearing. So it does not take very long for this ink to dry and work well on Tomoe River paper, which is awesome. Also, I do have videos about this, but if you have blotter paper, I buy mine from Naname Paper. If you have blotter paper, I recommend it in all Tomoe River notebooks and in Stylogy also. No matter whether you're using fountain pens, gel pens, other pens, you stick that paper in there and you close the book. It will soak up any excess, you can see it on there, ink, and so you will not have smearing even though you wrote and then immediately closed your book. You won't get any excess on your other page, and when you open it back up, it will be nice and dry. So if we were to do that and then close our book, I'm gonna recap my pen so I don't make a mess, and then find the page, open it up, it's dry. No smearing. So blotter paper is a miracle worker no matter what kind of pen you use inside your Tomoe River or Stylogy or pretty much any notebook, but those are the notebooks that I keep it in almost all the time, because no matter what pen you're using, you can have a little bit of dry time issue, or you may have written too heavily and gotten a little bit of a puddle or whatever, and so it protects your pages and it helps it dry, and it's super easy to add in there. So that is my unboxing, or faux unboxing, because we didn't have a box to open, of my Sailor Compass pen and my sister's Sailor Compass pen. I do hope that you enjoyed this little video about these pens. I really like this pen. I'm excited to start using it. I'm glad that I've got the pink one so that it matches one of my favorite pink inks. I think it is the perfect match and complement to it, and I really, really like it. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss future videos on fountain pens, stationery, planning, etc. And don't forget to just scribble.